All right, so in this video, we're going to go through note templates and also searching for a client note across your database. So not just going to one client, across the Xplan database. So on your icon strip, click on Hubs and then go to Notes and Documents. And in this document filters panel, you'll notice that I'm on category. To make a note template, I need to come to template. And if I click on the plus lines next to template, I can expand and see that someone has already made a folder, a category folder. So I can add in my own category or my own folder by clicking on the triangle next to the template and going new category. Maybe I'll just call it that for now. And make sure you change the permission to shared with my groups so that all your colleagues in your practice can see the template. I mean, the whole point is to make everyone's life easier, right? You're not just making only your life easier. And then go OK. I might refresh the screen. And yeah, after I refresh the screen, it's visible here. So if you see any other folders or templates that are not yours, don't randomly delete them. Maybe your licensee set it up, and then if you delete it, you've deleted it for everyone across the site. Now everyone's going to be upset at you. And so I now have my folder. I'm going to click on the drop-down triangle, and I'm going to show you settings. So it says that the documents in this category or this folder are editable, and only the owner can edit, which is me. And so that makes sense in a normal practice, right? Only the practice manager would be editing it. When I was training, this was unticked because we were a group of trainers. We all had to demo. It couldn't just be one trainer being able to edit it. Like all the trainers who were demoing to clients had to be able to edit. So that was unticked. If you do have owner edit only, just be aware that if there's a changeover of staff, so like I'm leaving the practice, a new practice manager is coming in, make sure that you open up the permissions so the next practice manager can actually edit. If not, it's kind of still locked to your login, even though you're no longer with the practice. All right, we'll close that down. So to recap, because I know I talked a lot, we're in category, we're in template, I made a folder, and now we're actually going to make our template. Click on add, and I'm going to demo the example I said in a previous video. So this template will be shared with everyone in my group, so all my colleagues in my practice. What's the point of having it private? This was to make everyone else's life easier. Luckily, you don't see something that says share with all. I used to see that quite a lot. And then when people clicked it, their note template and they're in another practice would be viewable by me. And it was so annoying because I was like, oh, I just want it to be neat and tidy. I don't want to see your junk. Okay. So anyway, good that we don't have a shared with all. I mean, shared with all is what licensees need to use to share a template across all the multiple practices. It's not what one practice should use to make everyone else untidy. With the note details, let's have meeting initial. There is a separate one for fact find, so I guess if your practice makes a different note, I'm going to be fine with the fact find being in the initial meeting note. Note shared with my groups. Don't worry about the date. Whoever picks up the template will be able to change it. And the subject is initial meeting. Ooh, meeting. Is she in fact fine? And be your prompt. So I guess you could have date. Although this should be the date of the meeting, but I guess you could have that here. You could have a prompt. You could come here. I know it's not very obvious where it says normal, but that's where you could pick your headings. You could maybe make your prompts in red so it's obvious. Ooh. You could have bullet points, all that kind of stuff. And then in the attachment, I'm going to attach my FSG. And every time the FSG updates, it's on me to update it here so it's correct for everyone else. And you wouldn't put related. That would be picked up when they use the template. And I can't remember if I can attach it to a case. When I do a video on cases, I'm going to have to test it and come back and let you know. All right, that's just templates at its most basic, okay? I have seen really fancy ones. Let's see if we can make this fancy. They've used HTML coding, they've done tables, they've done colors. Some of them have got syntax coding in it. So if I click on this X button, Xplan syntax, it's about the client, and I go key details, K, not key detail, key details with the S. I don't even know why there are two. But anyway, it's key details with S, and let's pretend it's this one, address title. And if there's something typed into address title in the client record, it should populate. Now, I kind of remember in the past there were some issues with using this Xplan syntax button. It didn't always work out of the box, but I tested it just now with this and it worked fine out of the box. So maybe it's all sorted out now. So let's go save and close, and let's test it against a client. So clicking into the search bar, here's my client. I'm going to click on this little arrow and add a note and pick up the template. So it's in my folder, and there it is. And it drops in, and this dropped in. And you can always change it, right? I can be like, no, it's only about Julia this time. Ooh, that's interesting. Why did it say Mr.? So either someone's typoed it in, or there's some setting that's wrong. So I'll go check that out. And is my attachment there? Sure is. Save and close. All right, so that is templates. Now let's look at some of the other things we can see from here. So if I go to client, this is how you can see in the background, every single client has its own record with notes in it, okay? Even, the company, the self-managed super fund in Australia, and the trust. And then user, these are all the staff, and there's no one on except me. There I am. And search. So this is how I search for notes all across the entire database, and database of clients, by the way. So let me show you additional features. So when would you use this? The only example I can think of is a little bit of a negative one, which, I do want to have good vibes videos, but I guess this is a realistic use case. Let's say you have an advisor and you say, look, you need to be making more notes. And the person says, yeah, I do. I made notes yesterday even. I make notes all the time. Okay. So then I could go search by owner. And since I'm the only one on the site, I can only search for myself. Click here, go OK, and don't forget to click search. The next one along is unallocated. You can see that the filter is still on, so just be careful. Maybe it'd be better to click reset and then go to unallocated and then go search. And I'm not expecting you to see a lot here. It's only if someone has come up to the plus button, added a note, and not added any related entities and saved and closed. It does sort of prompt you to save and close, which it didn't before. So it's great that it does it now. And if I search now, it appears here as unallocated. So you're not going to have to come to unallocated very much to manually go and allocate notes to the correct entity. But I used to have to come here a lot when the practice was using IMAP. So this is before Outlook plugin, and our licensee didn't allow email to the client record. And so you could use IMAP in Outlook. And what you do is you drag all the emails into IMAP, And as long as the sender email plus the email in Xplan was the same, it match up and go into the correct client record. So what would happen is that if we had a prospective client and someone hadn't gotten around to adding in the email correctly, or if they typoed the email, it would actually just sit here because it didn't know which record or folder to go into. So then, yay me, have to come, like every once in a while and just check it all out and manually allocate it to the clients. All right, so that's having a look at templates and just all the other stuff that you can see in notes and documents. Now, whether or not your login can see this depends on the capabilities or permissions for your login. So I kind of feel like it's pretty common for practice managers to have access to this, but maybe other staff won't have access to this. So share this video if it's been useful, or at least if it's given you some ideas as to what's possible, and I'll see you in the last notes video.